Now, in order to experience a third-dimensional life, which in our connotation means physical embodiment on Earth, our God Presence projects a minuscule portion of itself, the equivalent of one ray from its massive sun, into the stepped-down version of itself known as the Holy Christ Self. The purpose of a third-dimensional experience is to give our God Presence the opportunity to learn to become a co-creator with our Father, Mother, God, by becoming master of energy, vibration, and consciousness through the use of free will. This occurs most effectively within the denser constraints of a time and space reality, and through the use of our creative faculties of thought and feeling. Thus, our Holy Christ Self created from unformed primal light substance the vehicles it would use to learn the lessons of co-creation. It created a physical body, an etheric body, a mental body, and an emotional body. These vehicles were to be under the full dominion and authority of the Holy Christ Self, who was, in turn, under the full dominion and authority of our God Presence. A multidimensional communication system was instituted that was designed to keep the Holy Christ Self in constant communion with our God Presence and with all of the other aspects of our self and our many realities. This communication system could be described as an incredibly elaborate version of the fiber optic system we now use for our communication on Earth. Prior to the fall of humanity, the 12 solar aspects of deity that pulsate as the causal body of God were woven as strands of light into every single facet of our being. This divine light contains all of the wisdom, knowledge, and truth held in the mind of God. This light also contains within it the divine blueprint for our sojourn into matter, and it contains the totality of who we are, why we are here, and the full potential of all we will ever become. In order to transmit this knowledge and wisdom into the consciousness of our limited third-dimensional time and space reality, 12 solar strands of DNA were created and woven into the 12-fold helix of sacred fire. These 12 solar strands of DNA were designed to be the fiber optic system that guaranteed the continual open communication between our multidimensional God Presence, our radiant Sun being, and our Holy Christ Self, who was abiding in the third dimension. The Stargate of the heart was actually the open portal through which the light of the 12 solar aspects of deity continually poured to sustain and energize the 12 solar strands of DNA. The pulsations of the in-breath and the out-breath of the Holy Christ Self through the Stargate of the heart served as a cosmic generator to keep the solar strands of DNA connected to the source of our God Presence. Tragically, as we began to use our free will and our creative faculties of thought and feeling in ways that were not in alignment with divine will, we created fragmented frequencies of discord and confusion that caused us hurt and pain. These unfamiliar feelings scared us, and we began closing the Stargate of our heart so we wouldn't feel so much. As less energy flowed through our heart center, the 12 solar strands of DNA began to short-circuit. Our communication system became flawed, which caused additional fear that made us close our heart center even more. As we fell into denser and denser octaves of vibration, the 12 solar strands of DNA began to fray and disconnect. Over eons of time, our communication with our God Presence continued to deteriorate, and we became immersed in a veil of Maya and human miscreation. We continued degenerating until there were only 2 strands of DNA left intact, barely enough to sustain brain consciousness. The 2 remaining strands of DNA appear as the double helix of DNA our scientists have now discovered. We became totally disconnected from the realms of illumined truth and knowledge at that point, and we began to perceive the limited time and space continuum of the physical plane as our only reality. We believed that we were just our physical bodies, and the concept of being a son or daughter of God was beyond our comprehension. We accepted the illusion that the single minuscule ray from our God presence, which sustains our Holy Christ self, was our total being, instead of the massive sun we actually are. When we started to perceive the physical plane as our only reality, we also started to believe that our only source of love was someone in the physical plane. That, in a nutshell, is the cause and core of all of our dysfunctional behavior patterns in relationships, and it is why we have closed our heart center down so effectively and are terrified to risk opening it up again. When we truly believe that our only source of love is another person, then we become desperate, needy, possessive, obsessive, and codependent. Consequently, our relationships are usually nightmares instead of what we want them to be. Each time we experience a horrific relationship, we vow that we will never set ourselves up to be hurt that way again. The only way we think we can do that is by convincing ourselves that we don't need love, and by suppressing and denying all of the longings that we have for love, companionship, communication, tenderness, and sharing. We suppress our physical needs for closeness and sex as well, until we actually become numb and unfeeling. That is when we try to love with our brain instead of our heart, and we talk ourselves into thinking love instead of feeling love. That feels a whole lot safer and gives us permission to deny the fact that we have closed down our heart center. Then we can rationalize ourselves into being alone or being in relationships that don't demand our emotional heart love. This may feel less threatening, but we are reneging on our reason for being on earth in the first place, and we are blocking and delaying our growth and self-mastery. I want to assure you that we can only get away with that cop-out temporarily. Our God presence will put us in situations again and again and again until we finally get it and realize that we are not going to be allowed to remain closed down and numb forever. The very difficult part of this process is that our God presence continually works through our Holy Christ self to get us to start feeling again. And since we are so afraid of being hurt, we normally don't allow ourselves to feel positive emotions of love and trust or happiness. The end result is the only thing we let ourselves feel is pain, so we keep drawing dysfunctional relationships into our life over and over again. We must start waking up to the fact that people in the physical plane are not our source of love. It is wonderful to have harmonious, fulfilling, loving relationships, but they need to be the icing on the cake, not the source of our love. When we allow the stargate of our heart to open, and we begin drawing our love from our true source, our Father, Mother, God, then never again can a person leave us and make us feel totally void of love. We may still feel sadness and loss, of course, but it will not be the all-consuming life or death agony of rejection that we have experienced in the past. I know everyone is longing to believe they can perpetually experience the bliss of God's divine love, but we have been so disconnected from it for so long, we just don't trust that we will ever be able to safely open our heart to it again. Well, fortunately, God and the entire company of heaven know exactly how difficult it is for us to trust again. Yet trust we must if we are going to fulfill our divine plan and the divine plan for beloved Mother Earth. Due to the urgency of the hour, we are receiving more assistance than ever before from the realms of illumined truth and perfection to help us in this very frightening but incredibly glorious process of opening the stargate of our heart. We are being given an opportunity to open the heart in an atmosphere of safety. We are in the midst of a greatly empowered span of time, known as a window of opportunity. Because of the increase and acceleration of divine light flowing into the earth, we have the ability to change our behavior patterns and transform our life far more painlessly than ever before. There is an expression that says, "Cosmic moments come and cosmic moments go." If we don't grasp the opportunities presented during this cosmic moment, we may never again have the chance to move as effortlessly into the light. I know this truth is a little hard for us to accept when we look at the difficult experiences facing us in our daily life. In some instances, our life even seems to be getting worse. This is happening for a few reasons. First of all, any area of our life that is not reaching its highest level of potential is being pushed to the surface by our God presence so that we can clearly perceive it and correct it. This is having the effect of exacerbating the challenges we are going through. In some instances, financial problems are getting worse. Dysfunctional relationships are becoming more unbearable. Diseases are more complicated. Jobs are less fulfilling. Addictions are more compulsive. Depression is more severe. Fear is more agonizing. Low self-esteem and unworthiness seems more justifiable. Pain and suffering are more intense, and on ad infinitum. This is happening to jolt us out of our numbed state of mass hypnosis. We are so used to being miserable that we have accepted the negative things happening to us as an unavoidable, normal part of our earthly experience. But in truth, nothing could be more abnormal than the wretched state humanity has created on earth. These painful situations are being amplified to get our attention, and they are becoming intolerable, so we will focus on doing something about them. Another reason things seem to be getting worse is because we're being given an opportunity to transmute the maximum negativity that cosmic law will allow. Consequently, we have volunteered at inner levels to transmute many lifetimes worth of our own negativity in a very short period of time. We are being given the maximum returning energy that we can withstand. This sometimes seems like more than we can handle from our outer, lower human perspective, but our God presence will never give us more than we are capable of transmuting. The final reason things seem so hard at the present time is because the light workers have been granted permission for the first time on earth to transmute mass karma. This means that we are being allowed to transmute the negativity created by our fellow human beings who are so buried in their human effluvia that they can't get their heads above the mud puddle of chaos and confusion long enough to do it for themselves. We have actually volunteered at inner levels to transmute not only our own misqualified energy, but the misqualified energy of the masses as well. This is truly a gift of selfless service that is immeasurably appreciated by the heavenly realms. Whenever we expend our precious life energy to benefit any aspect of God's creation, additional assistance is granted to us from on high to enhance our effectiveness and make our work and our life easier. Such glorious assistance is now being granted. In order to ease our pain and move us very quickly through the negative challenges we are going through, we are being given an opportunity of unprecedented mercy and compassion. Our Father, Mother God is opening a door to limitless solar transmutation that has never before been experienced in any physical dimension. This is a frequency of the violet transmuting flame beyond anything we have ever been capable of withstanding. It is a frequency of divine solar light from the causal body of God that will instantaneously transmute back into perfection anything in its path. It reaches into the cause, core, effect, record, and memory of every frequency of vibration that is less than God's perfection, and transmutes that negative condition back into its original divine blueprint. This sacred gift is being released on earth because of the need of the hour and the cosmic moment at hand. This is truly the divine intervention we have been told would occur during Earth's final purge and cleansing. This is the divine intervention that will move this planet and all her life quickly into the octaves of light. The critical factor in this intervention is that in order for the fifth-dimensional frequencies of limitless solar transmutation to be effectively integrated into our present third-dimensional experiences on Earth, they must be consciously drawn through the heart flames of light workers abiding on Earth. Otherwise, even though this blessed light is pouring into the atmosphere of Earth, we will not receive its miraculous benefits in our daily life. This would be a tragedy beyond our comprehension. Fortunately, a plan has been set into motion by the entire company of heaven to avert such a tragedy. Please go within the divinity of your own heart flame and invoke the light of illumined truth through every fiber of your being. Listen to these words carefully, and as you do, ask the presence of God blazing in your heart to reveal to you your part in this divine plan. Then respond according to your inner heart call, knowing with full confidence that the doors will open to pave the way for you to fulfill your part of the plan. The most important critical factor in fulfilling our divine plan is learning to love ourselves. It is an immutable natural law that in order for us to be capable of loving any other part of life, any person, place, condition, or thing, we must first love ourselves. In my perception, the overwhelming underlying factor in every failure, every challenge, every painful experience we are enduring is a deep-seated, ingrained belief of unworthiness and low self-esteem. Most of us on many levels do not feel valuable or deserving of the joy of life. We may intellectually desire it, but deep inside we don't really believe we will ever experience it. It is time for us to release this distorted belief, these lies about ourselves that we have fabricated, which prevent us from reaching our highest potential and block our natural God-given heritage of happiness, prosperity, health, loving relationships, fulfilling jobs, and abounding joy. As we move forward into the realms of illumined truth, we are perceiving with greater clarity just how these distorted belief systems about ourselves were formed. There are several factors involved, and as we truly begin to understand them, we will willingly and gladly let go of our erroneous concepts and accept our reality as true sons and daughters of God. Our life at any given moment is a reflection of our behavior patterns, our thoughts, words, actions, feelings, and beliefs. We are always a sum total of everything we have ever experienced since our inception. As we sojourn through life's challenges, we accumulate a variety of emotions and feelings. Each of us has at one time or another undergone the gamut of emotions, from bliss to despair. When these emotions are named, happiness, love, comfort, joy or anger, pain, humiliation, rejection, we can often recall the incident and the person whom we consider responsible for evoking such feelings in our life. We can easily remember because the occurrence is recorded clearly in our etheric body, where it continually pulsates at a subconscious level. Our etheric body is one of the most important, but probably the least understood, of our four lower bodies. It is known as the seat of all memory, and all of our experiences are recorded within the etheric substance of this vehicle. The etheric body is an energy field that interpenetrates every cell and organ of our physical body, and it extends a little beyond our body's perimeter. It is comprised of various chemical ethers, and the radiance of this vehicle is often referred to as the aura. Every thought, word, action, or feeling we send forth passes through the etheric body on an electromagnetic current of energy, very similar to a television or radio wave. The frequency of vibration of each current of energy is recorded in the very sensitive chemical ethers of this vehicle. The records and memories of everything we have ever experienced resonate at a subconscious level in our etheric body, and as we sojourn through life, our day-to-day activities periodically activate these memories and bring them to the surface of our conscious mind. It is important that we clearly understand this process, because it will reveal to us how our previous experiences and attitudes keep interjecting themselves into our present life situations, confusing the present issues, thus keeping us stuck in the past and preventing us from moving forward.